Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. And as always, we give peace and salutations unto the elect. And this is a PSA about the GMS Dallas BitChute account. We will be loading more in-depth videos on what's happening to this page because YouTube is taking it there. So we'll be loading particular videos to YouTube, but as far as videos going in depth into what's happening and prophecy and things like that, which we'll load some to YouTube, but when it goes to the point where we know it's something they'll take down, we'll be loading here to our BitChute, which all you have to do is go to shoot, BITCHUTE. I'll leave the link in the description. All right, but if you go to the website, you would just type in the symbol, and then GMS Dallas. It'll bring you to this page. I've been uploading a few things, other brothers as well, trying to get it all set up, but it's a different platform. Here on this platform, they're more lenient, so we'll just do this for now until something else happens. Pretty much we know that the time is coming where this word will be shut down, period. We won't be on the highways, all right, and these videos, with their left-hand technology, will be absolutely removed off of the internet in its entirety, okay? And that's prophecy, so it's not a problem. But while we still have the platform or platforms, we'll use this now. I'm loading up older videos that were taken down as well. So what I'll do is when it's a new video, I'll put the date. Like yesterday, me and the brother Tazama, priest, we went into a video, as you can see here, going into, all right, these two things. You can see the name of them, all right, which are very, very, very prevalent in these times, all right. And you have to understand that Esau, well, the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shai, has the spirit on Esau to use these code names, which all of these things go back to the Greco-Roman Empire, which is the beginning of this very beast system we live in, okay? And there's no, hey, like the brother said, nothing is by coincidence, all right? The Heavenly Father has this devil moving in a very calculated way, but when you look into the coding and the wording and everything he's doing, even as John the Revelator in Revelation 13, he said, here is wisdom, meaning wisdom is required for you to understand this beast. And he pretty much breaks it down. So we're going to be going into that, chi psi stigma, you can see here. I don't even want to say it, but uploaded news and prophecy, anti-Messiah. That was on August 17th. Just loading particular things that we can't load up to YouTube. This is a video the elder Arianaza did that it was taken down. All right. So, check this out. Video I did on Captain Tazariak. This is another one that I just did. I didn't put the date on it though. So these are all newer videos. I'll put the date, Lord willing, if I remember to, put the date on those so you can know exactly which ones are old and which ones are the newer ones. But either way it goes, this is our BitChute account. I'll leave the link in the description. Make sure you go over there. Even if you don't sign up, you can just have a link saved and go to it. And there's going to be updates there, from brothers. Okay. Now, getting into the topic, okay, that I wanted to get into today, really briefly. I didn't want to make too much time of this, but I was watching this brother, all right, the elder brother Karatazah from the GMS Vegas camp. All right, now his YouTube handle, as you can see here, is GMS Vegas Sit Downs 144 Ba. All right, and the word Karatazah means diligent. All right, and he lives up to the name. Lord willing, subscribe so that you can be edified constantly. All right, constant edification. All right, and get this truth while it's here. All right, because as the scriptures say, there's many Israelites rioting in the daytime. All right, while we're supposed to be, showing and proving, uplifting the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, going into the prophecies, letting our people know what time it is. Okay, and pushing the faith. All right, you have those who are rioting. Okay, in the daytime, playing games while the light is here. Scriptures say light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light. Okay, but we're living in a time where the Lord is doing some making some very strategic moves leading towards our salvation. And like we always say, it's going to require 100% faith. Okay, and all of those worries and doubts in the flesh, all right, have to be overcome by the Spirit and belief, because that's where Satan wins. When you become afraid to the point where you make a decision that rebels against Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Now, the title of this video is Shameful Spewing Shall Be on Thy Glory. Afghan woman ethers the West. Now, over there in Afghan, okay, it's partly Ishmael and partly Elam, mostly Elam. All right, I was looking it up. It's mostly Elam, but she's ethering the West. Now, ether means basically a slang for destroyed. All right, just spit fire on you. Now, also, I want to show you this one. Okay, which people are fed up with you Edomites, in particular Babylon the Great, as prophecy said. Now, this is Pakistan PM hails Taliban's victory, because as you see, Taliban, they didn't took over the whole country. They've taken over the whole thing. Okay, they even have U.S. military armor as Biden pulled the troops. Okay, immediately the leaders told the women to shut the F up, get your ass in the house, because while Babylon was there, okay, what was being forwarded? That wine. Okay, so what did he say? He hails Taliban's victory and says adopting Western culture was worse than slavery. You see that? Now, they're going to have their propaganda with women crying out saying, they're being mean, but and though they're heathen, okay, truth be told, a lot of these women weren't marching and crying for rights until Esau went over there and set up the propaganda. All right, now, to hell with these heathen. All right, but they have more order within their culture. Okay, when you go over to the east, they have more order in their culture, because one of the main things that's in order is their women. All right, now, of course, it's not according to wisdom, all right, on all levels, but you can see that the Western culture is looked down upon. As the U.S. has left and the Taliban has taken over, they're pretty much they're celebrating. All right, they're celebrating because what? Western culture was worse than slavery. All right, so we're gonna read some of this post, okay? Because people are DMing this lady. This is a post off of Instagram, and people are DMing a lady, but the lady left a response, pretty much cursing out you Babylonians, because a lot of the refugees from over there in Pakistan are being let over here in the U.S., showing you this is Rome all over again. It's nothing new under the sun. Okay, the Rome was had an influx of refugees, so to speak, and Esau, all right, he wants those refugees and those over here for the purpose of cheap labor and many other things. Okay? Now, the everyday red-blooded American is pissed off because these refugees come over here and they get taken care of above Jake and even now above you red-blooded Americans. So you're going to see a lot of angry Edomites in these last days, pissed off at Babylon, and we should just sit back and allow them to pretty much destroy themselves, because that's what's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to be a bloodbath. It's getting ready to be civil war. Now, we know Jake is going to be the blame and target of the majority of it, but the Heavenly Father got it set up to where Egypt is getting ready to, it's not prevailing. As the prophecy says, let's get it. Let's get it. Isaiah 19. Okay, Isaiah the 19th chapter. And 14. It says, the Lord Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work. All of the propaganda is tacky. Everything that they're doing is stupid, satanic, childish. It has no real logic or reason behind how they're acting, what they're pushing. Okay? And have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his own vomit. And what good can come from a drunk guy staggering in his own vomit? Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which that's on the horizon. Homelessness, the loss of jobs, which the head or branch or rush may do. And that day shall Egypt be like unto women. And you can see that feminine vibe being on the men. And what does it mean? Women are easily terrified. Like when something happens with women, faithless, lack of faith. All right. And people are submitting to, this thing through propaganda. Okay. And through just telling him what he's going to do. Because so the Egypt is basically the people of America. This is the modern day Egypt. Did not the Lord say, I will send you into Egypt again via slave ships? Would not the Israelites be in a decrepit, God-forsaken great city that was known as a spiritual Sodom in Egypt? Well, we're here. And the works thereof have reached up unto the heavens, and the Heavenly Father is getting ready to destroy this place. So don't allow what these people are huffing and puffing and saying they're going to do and this to frighten you. The Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. I have no doubt in my mind that these people are going to lose. And it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. And what is the shaking of the hand? That's synonymous with rebuke. Let's get Isaiah 13. Isaiah the 13th chapter, in the second verse. Lift ye up a banner. Now it says the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amoz did see. Now the average person in the flesh reading this will say, oh, this is talking about ancient Babylon. Okay. Now Isaiah prophesied in the Assyrian, Babylonian Empire, right? However, when you read this, okay, it's talking about a destruction to where Babylon will never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. This is speaking of that Babylon written in Revelation, the 18th chapter. Go read that if you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is a future prophecy. What does it say? Lift ye up a banner. This is a burden of Babylon. What is a burden? Something bad happening or to come. Okay, as a matter of fact, so I don't butcher it, what does it say? Mashah, load, bearing, tribute, burden, bearing, carrying, oracle, which is a prophecy, all right, or a burden. The root word, Bashah, or Nashah, Salakia, to lift up, all right. So this is the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah, the son of Amos, all right, or Amwaz, did see. It says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. And what is the high mountain? Babylon the Great. A mountain represents governments in the Bible. All right. Strongholds. At the top of a mountain, what do you have? A summit. Don't they have their summit meetings? Okay. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. And that's exactly what we're doing. I have commanded my sanctified ones with the sanctified counsel. This is how there isn't 100% truth, because the counsel that the Heavenly Father has given these men is sanctified. I have called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. This is the elect who are out prophesying, man. But what are they doing? They're shaking the hand. Shake the hand. Like when you shake your hand, you're rebuking somebody. Right? So we're living in these times, going back here, where people in that day, Egypt shall be like unto women, and it shall be afraid, Isaiah 19:16, and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid. And that's happening now. Okay? That's happening now, man. The prophets being raised up. Okay, now on the left-hand side, you got Jake, getting roused up. They're constantly trying to get Jake's mind. Everything is aimed at Judah because that's the head tribe. All right, the other tribes as well, but the main focus of Esau's plans always centers around Judah. When they see you waking up, okay, and when they see you getting into any sort of spirit to where you're coming together and separating from them, they lose their goddamn minds, man. Okay? So Judah is a terror unto Egypt, man, because Judah would be raised up first. Okay? But then also even on the left-hand side, man, these nations they know that they've done Jake wrong, man. And in the back of their head, they know that they have to pay for the shit, man. So to see Jake with any sense of, seriousness and coming into Jake burning Palo Santo, incense, getting stones, even, the bugged out ones. People are losing it. All right? In the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, which he have determined against it. Which is what? Destruction to this place. And people know. So they try to hide it with the smiles and the social media and the bread and circuses, but it's all being dried up. And everybody is get ready to be faced with reality, man. But overall, within our message, there's a shameful spewing on you Edomites. And it's happening from all over the world, even outside of this message. People are fed up with you. This is Habakkuk 2:16. Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. Pull back that foreskin, and it exposes the filth of you nasty bastards, man. You're unclean. Okay? You've hid long enough. And what you're doing is absolutely satanic in the earth, man. And you've done, as the scriptures say, Babylon will get it, has been a golden cup in the Lord's hands that have made the nations drunk, and the nations are mad. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So yes, there's a shameful spewing being put on your glory, man. Okay? A perverse spirit. Now, this lady left this message, and I'm just going to read it, and then I'll get that article. Now I get a few other scriptures, so I got to close out. But it says this lady, pretty much people are talking shit to her, or Esau on the internet crying about the refugees, But look what your people have went over to these different nations and done, man. And the heathen are going to be far better off under our rule. Though they have to be paid back, at least there's room in a future of if they keep our laws, man. Under you, you've constantly oppressed, raped, robbed, murder. Because they say there's trillions of dollars worth of resources over in this region, man. Opium, all sorts of things, man, that Esau uses for wicked. And he used propaganda to go over there, all right, and set up shop. And not only did he set up shop, what did he do? Let's get that in the book of Micah. Micah, the 2nd chapter. Okay? Let's just get to the point. And they covet fields, verse 2, and take them by violence through propaganda. Habakkuk tells you that they march through the land to possess places that are not theirs, man. Through propaganda, lies, pseudoscience, wickedness. They take over the news station, the printing press. Okay, and all of a sudden, women are marching for rights. All of a sudden, trans want rights. All of a sudden, these people want rights. And they what? They uproot cultures, okay, standards, divide families, and the end result is, as this man said, okay, hold up. And this man is a devil, man. I guess I was going to do something on that too, but he said adopting Western culture was worse than slavery. Come on, man. Oh, my goodness, man. So it says they covet fields, because he's a covetous man, and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And that's what they do. Okay? As the scriptures say, you're not supposed to remove the landmarks. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, against this family, what family? You Edomites, do I devise an evil from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. And that day shall one take up a parable against you, and lament with a doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. He hath changed the portion of my people. How hath he removed it from me? Turning away, he have divided our fields. And that's exactly what he's done. Okay? That's why the scriptures say you've become small among the heathen. Everybody's looking at your ass. And you're using propaganda and enchantments to try to put the blame on everybody else, using Jake. All right? But Obadiah verse 2, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised, man. And that word small, katan, all right, goes into insignificant or unimportant. Okay, you can look it up for yourself. Now, as this scripture just said, in that day, people are going to take up a parable against you, you know, which links with Habakkuk as well. Okay, the book of Habakkuk. All right. Habakkuk 2:5, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. He's all over the world, stealing, bombing, doing wickedness, sending economic hitmen, and giving loans to particular poor nations and then enslaving them, only benefiting the interests of his people. Where all of these, resources are, like in Zambia. What are they rich in Africa? Copper. Well, he and the Moabites have totally decimated that place, and the people of Zambia don't benefit from anything, any of the copper. But he does, Esau. All right, now you have a neo-colonization being done through the Moabites. But pretty much the heathen have sucked all of the resources, man. And the top heathen is you Edomites, who enlargeth his desire as hell. You won't stop. Now you want people's souls, man. And is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what he's doing right now. He wants them all. I want those eyes. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, which is that debt. You see, which is the one of the highest forms of fornication with Babylon the Great, and to drink of that wine is to take on that dollar. Okay, that thick clay, I bought yet, which is debt. All right, and if fractional reserve banking is absolutely wicked. Okay, now usury can be put upon a heathen in the law, but there's a limit. This devil, a quick example of fractional reserve banking is you can go to a bank and in the system, they have $1 million, all right, on hand at that bank, at that location. But in actual physical money, they only have $100,000, right? But they're able to loan out, okay, the 900,000 that ain't really physically there. It's only there in number. It's only there in digitally. They're loaning it out and applying interest to that. This wickedness, man. There's just a small understanding of fractional reserve banking, man. They have a fraction reserved in the bank of what they say they actually have, but then they're able to loan out money on what's not there and then charge you interest on it, thus loans. See, in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to loan to the heathen. That's what the scriptures say. You're going to lend to the heathen, okay, and they're going to have to come to you for loans, and we'll have the ability to deny you a loan. All right, but it will not be based upon this wicked system here, man. And we damn sure ain't going to be using no paper money. So woe to him that increaseth in that which is not his, how long? In him that ladeth himself with thick clay, as we just talked about. I bought yacht. Wages, weight of pledges, heavy debts. Okay, and he has the world pretty much enslaved with that IMF, that banking system, man. And who runs that? Okay. Anyway, let's read this lady's post, and then we'll read a little bit of that article and we'll close it out. All right. She says, I am an Afghan woman. My family fled the U.S.-backed proxy war. See that? Because the U.S. has done some serious wickedness over in these regions, man. Against the Soviet Union. You have been told it is a civil war, via propaganda, the news. We Afghans have killed each other, but mainly on the bankroll of foreign governments who divide and conquer. Now, in the book of Habakkuk, the first chapter, okay, in code, all right, the Lord is speaking of the Chaldeans being raised up to punish Judah, all right, but it's also speaking in code of the Edomites, okay? Habakkuk 1 and 10, because the Edomites have the same characteristics as the ancient Chaldeans, who were the priesthood of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, all right, with Nebuchadnezzar being the face of it. Okay? And what did it say they do? It says, and they shall scoff at kings. As a matter of fact, all right, for lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, Habakkuk 1 and 6, that bitter and hasty nation which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. And when you jump down, it says, and they shall scoff at kings And the princes shall be a scorn unto them, and they shall deride every stronghold, okay, through propaganda. They scoff at kings, all right? If they don't bow to the agenda of the Chaldeans, they set up propaganda, destroy them, uproot their rulership and government, and set up a puppet leader to do their bidding. That's what's been happening over here in Pakistan, in various places around the world. Just look at what just happened in Haiti. It says, mainly by foreign governments who divide to conquer. The Afghanistan you see today has its roots in the British occupation. Now, the British has went worldwide. We can't forget about the British, which America was born out of the British. You look at a lot of what's happening in Africa. You look at what's happening in China and different places around. The British have a whole hell of a lot to do with that as well. Using pseudoscience as a means to conquer, lie. Oh, yeah. You got a lot of wickedness, man, that you've done. All right? Roots in the British occupation of India. All right? Exacerbated by the USSR in USA. Regional powers like Pakistan, Iran, China, and the Gulf Arab states have all conspired with imperialists to reach their hands under my land for its resources. $300 trillion worth. It's more. All right? Your pharmaceutical companies bet on us too. 80% of the world's opium is Afghanistan grown. Ironic you believe you are the ones dependent on you. All right? Ironic you believe we are the ones dependent on you. That's what she said. Yeah, like we dependent on you, but you coming over here stealing what our land is rich in, and that's what they do. And how did all of this opium and all of these drugs get over here? Just somebody just got on the plane and was able to fly them over? How didn't they get caught? Then they'll make a movie blaming Jake. What's this nigga name? Where I forget, it was Denzel who played the movie, acting like he was the start of drugs being brought over to the Americas. I forget the name of that movie, but I know Jay-Z did a soundtrack for it. Okay. Anyway, it says people from my region. Who's the real drug dealer? Not giving Jake a pass. All right, but who's the real thug? People from my region do not live in a post-colonial world. We exist within the legacies that empires leave behind. All right, and who colonized these different places? Esau, Edom. We come clawing to your shores where we are told we don't belong. But we're very familiar with you. We've seen, and they talking to Esau. We've seen the name of your countries everywhere on the side of Humvees, on the propaganda leftists dropped from jets, in the mouths of women and soldiers raped, your soldiers raped, in the mouths of women your soldiers raped. Today, you flood my DMs and say you care. It is what it is. All right, let me start over. Today, you flood my DMs and say you care. Is this what you took? What it took? 241,000 deaths? That's the official number, and there is way more than that. But it's hard to count bodies when there's piles of flesh. Drug addicts up 300%. Babies born from deformities because of the radiation from your bombs. Our diaspora communities ravaged with trauma. My mother and father are living ghosts you've created. They don't haunt you, but I bear witness to their pain every day. All right, and you could go to this brother's video and he goes more into it. But that was a beautiful speech, man. Curse their asses out. All right, curse their asses out. Now, Pakistan PM hails Taliban's victory and says adopting Western culture was worse than slavery. Pakistan's prime minister sparked outrage, all right, when he said the Taliban's victory in Afghanistan was like breaking the shackles of slavery. Imran Khan even claimed that the country's attempts to adopt Western culture during the 20 years the U.S.-led coalition, where there was worse than actual slavery. Wow. The leader of the nuclear state, which shares huge, all right, porous border with Afghanistan, spoke after the Islamist militants took over vast swaths of the country, including the capital of Kabul. And they took it over, man. All right? They took it over. Okay, dancing, flying U.S., helicopters, doing all types of shit. Telling women to shut up. Telling women to get in the house. Because over in these countries, a lot of women can't drive. There's particular rights they don't have. But when Esau went over there, what did he do? He probably turned on Cardi B and told him, "Do your thing, girl." And what did he say? It was worse than slavery. All right. Over the weekend, Taliban fighters stormed the city and its presidential palace, promoting chaos as thousands of Afghans tried to flee. They were even getting on the plane, like clinging onto the airplanes, falling off, man. These people are crazy, those Ishmaelites. It says, totally ignoring the group's well-documented barbarity, Mr. Khan said, when you adopt someone's culture, you believe it to be superior, and you end up becoming a slave to it. He added, you take over the culture and become psychologically subservient. Now, didn't we just read this in Micah, the 2nd chapter? This is prophecy, baby. Okay? In that day shall one take up a parable against you, a parable, mocking you, and lament with the woeful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. How have he changed the portion of my people? Okay? How have he removed it from me? Turning away, he have divided our fields, which is inheritance. What comes with inheritance? A way to live, a legacy to pass down. All right, but what does Esau do? He blocks it, okay, and spoils the people, implementing what? Wine. That's why the scriptures say, woe to him. Okay, let's get that. Habakkuk 2 and 15. Woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness, man. And nakedness, this can be taken in a literal sense and in a more in a spiritual sense, because nakedness represents without your laws, without your covering. Your laws are your covering, your standard, your culture. But you put your bottle on him and makest him drunk, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And what do when they're naked? You take advantage, because they don't have their covering. They don't have their standards. Look at that. Hey, happy boy. Mr. Khan said of the Taliban in Afghanistan, what is happening in Afghanistan now, they have broke the shackles of slavery. His comments were quickly slammed, with many pointing out that they failed to acknowledge the group's appalling human rights record and the fact that the West tried to bring democracy, and they always talk about some goddamn democracy. This wine. You adopt that shit thinking, oh, okay, yeah. And then you put on that suit, and next thing you know, your people are dumb. Family structure's gone. It's trash, and the music, the culture is degenerate. That's what Esau does. But he always starts, we're bringing a democracy. One Twitter user raised, this man has the cheek to talk about culture. Now look at the Western culture. These people really believe that this is something to brag about. Look at it. Big ass hamburgers. Okay, the alphabet thing, everything's trash, man. The food, no family structure. The women are all out of order. The men are soft. No values. No standards. You eat like trash. What is Western culture? Satanism. That's what we call it. Anyway, I just wanted to get that. Let me finish it off here. This is Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that have made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that have made the earth drunken. So what happened when they got drunk? They were naked. They fell for the democracy. They fell for the propaganda. But now they're mad. Revelation 11:18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead that they should be judged. The dead are you heathen nations, 2/3 of our people. All right, they don't have they're not about life. Okay, and that they should give reward unto thy servants, the prophets. Okay, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great. All of us are going to get a reward. Not just the teachers. Now, of course, the men of the Lord, the governing body, the 144, under Yahweh Shai will be direct government, all right? But under them, everybody gets a part, man. Those that fear the name of the Lord. And here's the point. And shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. All right? The hammer of the earth, man. Babylon. All right? So with that, shalom.